for the echo.
That looks good to me. Also, I should note that like the first thing that we'll be broadcasting is like a music playlist and then an intro video. And at the end of the intro video, that's when we go to tea only. That looks good to me.
I like it, but I'm also feeling like it feels like now on 2020. Like it's I'm getting a bit of Fox News feel. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that vibe. It feels like we're gonna have a championship match. I don't know if there's any.
I think if you go something for like soft barn doors, perhaps just so it looks like it's a window opening onto another scene might help a little bit to take away from that CNN Fox News effect. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's that their portrait, like I know that we're in a full landscape, but because it's split it in two, they're longer portrait wise than they are like vertically than they are horizontally, and putting them like that vertically, yeah, like I feel like I need more space on either side, possibly. Yeah, things with frames would be nice like that. Well, this is the thing. We want it to look like a Zoom call, don't we, Zoe? So we want it to look kind of as computery or as exactly what we're using right now.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And also on Zoom, the corners are curved just to give you an attention to detail and not square cut off. So
Yeah,
which will lead to that.
exactly.
No, they're on mine, they're all curved. So
Ooh, you got the curved version. Yeah, I think that pre-screen is something that we could think about designing so that we actually have like something that looks like a setup that looks really specific, but I like it more in frames. The only thing I'm also thinking is with such a close zoom in view, we're missing the backgrounds. Can't see as much of the.
I think that's fine because when
That's
tea's on their
okay.
own, we get the wide version.
Yeah, for sure. As long as we don't start with those ones, like I guess we'd have to do a pass off between one or the other.
why don't you stack them on top of each other if you want to stretch them out a little bit to play with that digital distortion and breaking, so it looks like they're coming in lines from the side? Might be an interesting way of.
Do you mean like phasing in and out?
Yeah, but actually stack them on top of each other, so the two rectangles, so rectangle top and bottom. Okay, I thought it just might be an interesting start, that's all, in terms of it's just the eyes, you know, like woo woo, or just the lips, woo woo, so you just got these two mouths as a start. Just
Yeah,
visually.
these are all great ideas, but I definitely think I'm just
Not too much for the tech team to manage flicking between them, bless.
I think just for the next week, possibly.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's definitely something that I'd like us to spend a bit more time designing, because we could really go to town on it. But also, like, I'm looking at it now in the actual screen on the side rather than on the Zoom. And it looks good in the frames that are on the website, if that makes sense. Like, I think it actually looks all right there.
Okay. I was just thinking almost like letterboxes as it's the start of a long distance conversation.
Yeah,
in dialect,
yeah.
isn't it? So
Yeah, no, as long as we can see those backgrounds full time at some point. Yeah. I think it's something that I could literally spend like 2 hours fiddling around with, so we should probably move on. All right. So the windows would just be transparent. Yeah, and then we just use it like a frame. Cool.
Could we also see what what it would look like to have a BSL interpreter in there?
Oh, yes. Riker again. Yeah. Caitlin. Yeah. I think this is looking really good though, because I think just watching the actors enjoy this system, I think shows me that it's got a lot of potential for customization, and also it even has potential for interactivity. I'm already thinking of how we could get some kind of gag of them talking to the BSL. I just love the like looming over nature of it. It's wonderful. So, are we happy with that, Zoe, or would you like to change it in any way? Any ideas?
It looks good to me. Let's move on to the next scene.
Right.
sorry, can I just say the background for the BSL? What are you going to do for that? Is that going to be a neutral colour or
Dave said that he's got chroma key backdrop.
okay? Sorry, just double checking. Thank you.
That's cool.
Violence against LGBTQI plus people in the European Union has reached its highest level in a decade.
You see, trans people are under attack right now, especially the next generation.
It's never been about the children. It's always been about scapegoating trans people, stigmatizing us, and criminalizing our existence.
I open the news and there we are. And it's most of the time not in a positive light.
A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense.
The descent of the Conservatives in general into far-right conspiratorial poison.
The misnamed Human Rights Act. They didn't call it the Criminal Rights Act.
An appalling feeling that I'm in one of those like historic catastrophes.
But when someone dies of COVID-19, it's not a tragedy. It's just a number.
Our most vulnerable are worried they are being put at risk.
People who have long COVID are struggling to work.
As disabled people live in absolute fear.
To stop disabled people getting benefits rather than to help them.
Why are we destroying everything for people who will die anyway soon?
More boats, asylum seekers and migrants has become a political battleground.
High on the cliffs overlooking the Bibby Stockholm is one of Portland's 2 prisons. The government insists this barge isn't a third.
You know, I think they're tapping into a deep, deep fear that a lot of people have.
Wow. That's the other thing, we'll need BSL for the YouTube, unless we've got, do we have subtitles on it naturally?
Subtitles are built into the
video.
Sorry, I got thrown off because my Discord has speech to text to speech, and someone just said something on Discord. Subtitles built into the online interface for audiences online. On YouTube, it'll just be auto captioning, right?
Okay, great.
But yeah, if obviously BSL is going through OBS, so that's on YouTube as well.
Yep.
And we're not necessarily expecting a YouTube audience, right? I don't mind if people watch it on YouTube. They won't have as good of a time as if they were on the website. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And when I've thought through, like, do we want to use a different platform instead of YouTube? I'm like, well, the chance of organic traffic is like, yeah, okay, let's get that algorithmic lottery ticket just in case.
It's worth it. We could all Willy Wonka our way into fame. You never know. Grab.
That's kind of what I was hoping for. Was kind of subtle, and I wrote it that way because I didn't want to call it a zoom out, because it's not a zoom out. I was being overly literal, but I was like, I just want it to feel like, you know, have you seen Bo Burnham's Inside? You know, in the middle of White Woman's Instagram, the frame expands. I want that feeling, like, but
ratio increase.
So you want a ratio change, essentially.
I want a slow ratio change. That's what I want. Thank you.
Yes. I think he means in the sense of we're zoomed in to an extent and then the frame expands. So yeah, exactly. So we're changing
I don't want it to be like,
ratio.
I don't want black bars closing in. Like, but what it could be, I mean, it might not feel right and we might decide not to do it, but it might be that, like, T ends up taking more space, like that square gets wider, and we get more of the background. So it's just like it's breathing, right? And then when the meditation moment is over and the sound stops, we suddenly go back to this.
Right. Okay, so we need to expand the image essentially so that means that everything before that needs to be done smaller. Or we need to have larger frames for everything before that moment, and then we can expand to full screen, I think is what you mean.
I think, yeah, that.
And then back to a framed version. So that would mean essentially if we start with bigger frames, And then, yeah, we could have it so that he comes across on one side. Yeah, I can see what you're trying to.
Yeah, I mean, it might look shit. It might not work, or it might not be worth the trade-off. I just thought we've got this opportunity now that we're using OBS to do something with it, and that's a moment when that shift.
Yes, Tom.
Like, and especially because it's breaking, it's a little bit of fourth wall breaking as well, right? Like, that shouldn't happen in a video call. Like, your mental state shouldn't affect how a video call looks. And so the idea of having that moment was really appealing. I don't know if Jennifer's got an idea for this one. Sorry to throw you into this, Jennifer.
Okay, so I'm just trying to grasp what you're trying to do. Are you trying to think a bit like, you're making me think a bit about how cine cameras move and click around, where you're actually moving with the body rather than with the camera?
No, I don't think we're getting that idea. I think it's more the idea of like the zoom in, but it's through a ratio change in the sense of, I think also the descriptor of breathing, I think is a good idea to focus on, because we could even have it that, like what Tom's doing right now, we could have a fluctuation between like the size of the frames, so that when we're going serious, we go quite close and we get really expanded. And then when we're normal, we're in a sort of more framed position. Does that work?
Is that something we can ask the actors to do rather than actually leaving it purely technical? Are they, I don't know, you know, are they able to pull back?
Yeah, so that's in the script, that Iris asks T to step back, and already it looks weird because of the virtual background.
Okay,
and I'm like, can we do something to yes and that weirdness, you know?
Yeah. Just visually, I really like what we're doing already, that idea of just the size of the frame, exterior frames going in and out.
And just to note, we definitely need to get you a chroma key background, Sander.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, right now there's a real like difference between the quality, isn't there?
The pale goth look is giving us some really interesting artifacts.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of, I can't remember the name of the artist, but that artist who did the breathing room, and it was like a whole installation that breathed. And I just love the idea of them kind of like the frames going big and small. Also, I kind of like the idea that a Zoom call with the Transdimensional Research Institute like wouldn't look entirely like a normal Zoom call, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I want to see that kind of effects that gradually over the series, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
It needs to initially read exactly as a Zoom call,
and
then more weirdness can happen over the 5 episodes, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So that people know what the setting is, and then we start messing with it.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I think it's got a lot of potential for us to mess around with it. Shall we move on then?
You could make it bubble slightly if it's breathing, almost like bubbles. I mean, it makes a lot of facial distortion, but it could like almost where you bubble the head and then it bubbles. So like a balloon inflating and deflating. I don't know if that's something.
Like almost
so like would that be like a warping effect?
Yeah, so you can get where you can get like a bubble pop. So there are filters that do that. Don't know whether yeah, I normally would do it in Illustrator to make someone's face look like it bubbled out and then bubbled back in again. So it's
God, we're getting into the realm of live special effects, aren't we?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm just like
that's all right. We can apply for another grant. We'll get some more money.
But you were asking whether there's an effect in OBS that does this, right? Like that will create a fisheye effect.
Yeah, fish lens almost, isn't it?
Okay.
Definitely look for a fisheye lens, or it might be called, sometimes they call them like peepholes. So you know when you look through the peepholes indoors and you look the wrong way, they sometimes call them those as well. I know from like editing software for film stuff. So
yeah, we'll definitely look into that.
But yeah, maybe it is just a case of like sorry, my head went somewhere else. I did not mean to cut you off, Jennifer.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of the egg stuff that we were talking about earlier. So is it almost like making them an egghead? If you want about physical egg around the room, and you've been asking me to research eggs.
Yes.
And setting in resin, aren't you, into cubes? So working on that. So just as a sideline. For fragility,
yeah, we're already a little
if
bit
you've
in
got
egg
an
mode. I like that.
Yeah. Just as it joins all those weird visual themes together. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be
Okay.
really fun. So we'll have a look at whether an effect like that exists for Zoom.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it might just be that like that grey border just gets slimmer around around T.
It could
right?
concave and convex. Is there anything that convex and concaves? There must be a concave filter on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right. So
have a
that's
look
another
into it.
research piece for us to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got it written down. Right. Shall we go? Oh, wow. Transdimensional. Yep. Sorry?
So is that it? Like it's this, it's the pre-recorded videos, it's ending, and then I need to create something that's like basically the credits. And then we come back and take a bow. And then I think from there we might want to shift into something that feels like a Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it is just literally broadcasting the Zoom call at that point with the cast and the crew. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Thanks.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to ask. I'm keen to run it, or try to run it. But I'm also aware that we probably need a 5-minute bathroom break, tea break. So shall we take what do people want? 5 or 10 minutes? 5? 10? From Xander? Yep, that's cool. We'll do 10. And we'll come back at, what's that, past? And then we will do our best to run it quickly, just loosely as well, and we'll see what we'll do. The Q to Q. Yep, that sounds good. Cool. All right. Everyone, have a break. Go do your thing.
Am I meant to be seeing my video call? Okay, the video call is ready. How do I look? God, my skin looks so pale in a black wig. Guess my gender for the day is chaotic, goth, with a hint of lavender menace. And you know what? I didn't totally fuck up the guyliner this time. Wait, why am I still calling it guyliner? What's the non-binary version of guyliner? Oh, I guess it's just eyeliner. Oh, or is it gayliner? Is it even possible to be too much with Iris? Last time we spoke, they looked like they just waltzed off the intergalactic version of those old-timey variety shows. Oh, T. You really ballsed that up last night. Why did you let yourself get into a rant about... Oh, what was it again? The patriarchy! The bastard patriarchy! Well, I don't need to worry about that anymore. Soon, everything is going to change for me. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is really happening. Oh my god. Alright, stay calm, be cool, just answer like a normal person. Just answer the call. You're a cool creature, am I saying as you are? Oh, smudging Christ. I mean...
Oh, this really is fabulous. I knew Telephony would be a hit with the humans. Hello, it's lovely to talk to you again. T, wasn't it? How have you been doing?
Great, thank you. I can't wait to get started.
I'm delighted to hear that. Get started with what, exactly?
Oh, like, you're from the organisation, right? Aren't you going to train me up, teach me how to be the thing that I'm supposed to be?
I don't quite follow, but, it seems like you expect something from me.
I thought being part of the intergalactic organisation...
Transdimensional Net Research Institute.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I thought it would be... Well, like the Federation, you know, in Star Trek. You'd be a representative of a vast organisation that makes sure everyone who works within it is okay and has super advanced technology, and it trains people to be like science geniuses or brilliant leaders, and everybody travels through space to distant worlds to boldly go where no one has gone before.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Look, I guess I thought things would get better now that, well, I know the truth about myself.
So, you learn that you're not really human, but you are put here as part of an experiment by a vast organisation, beyond your knowledge or comprehension, and your first thought was, oh, what a fantastic opportunity for my own personal hero arc. I bet I have superpowers now.
Well, of course it sounds silly when you put it like that.
This job isn't going to get you anything that you don't already have. The joy of this job isn't that it gives you amazing abilities, it's the fact that you get to observe the stuff of life. You get to see how the world is made in every moment. It's beautiful, but it's not something that I can give you. It's already all around you.
Right. So the real trans-dimensional superpower was inside us all along. So my job is just to be here and tell you what it's like.
You see, it's not so hard after all, is it?
You don't understand. Look, I don't know how it is where you are in that University of a Multiverse or whatever.
Transdimensional Research Institute.
Yeah, that's what I said. I bet you wake up every day knowing that your needs will be met with 3D printed foods and no energy bills to pay.
Yes, we all know about these primitive worlds with their finite energy and exothermal cooking methods. This is all taught in the first week of Transdimensional Anthropology 101.
It's not so easy here on Earth. Look, Ranty McRants, compared to this garbage fire of a world, whatever is going on at the Institute has to be like a fucking spa retreat in heaven.
Oh, this is fascinating. Thank you for this very thorough report. I can see that we're getting off to a truly promising start.
Look, that wasn't a report.
Oh, don't be so modest. You're doing a fantastic job here. You've clearly been paying very close attention. I did my fieldwork in the 1920s, and I had no idea what was going on. I spent far too much time partying. You must have adapted very well indeed.
Adapted? I've pissing well coped!
My dear.
Look, by the way, I won't stop swearing. FYI, you can't bloody stop me.
My dear, it takes real skill to be able to navigate a complex information environment such as the one that currently exists on this earth.
Look, it's just what you do. I mean, I wouldn't call it a skill.
Yes, that's the point. You learn far more through sheer necessity than the rest of us ever could through observation. That's the value of this research.
Wait, so that's all this is? I have to live in this fucked up world and spend every day struggling so that you can go off and what? Write research papers about me?
You have to take this all in context. You are in a position to understand these challenges with remarkable insight. You can see how a world is being recreated in every moment, and how it changes little by little every day. I know it's hard to bear the reality of what's happening, but when you see it with this grounded perspective, you recognize that it's not the end of the world.
It literally is the end of the world. The world is literally being destroyed by the pissing patriarchy.
Come now, let's keep our wits about us. It's only the end of one world. It's your job to be particularly attached to this one, but perhaps it would bring you some solace to see this as just a project.
No project should be this fucking hard.
Violence against LGBTQI+ people in the European Union has reached its highest level in a decade.
You see, trans people are under attack right now, especially the next generation.
It's never been about the children. It's always been about scapegoating trans people, stigmatizing us, and criminalizing our existence.
I open the news and there we are. And it's most of the time not in a positive light.
A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense.
And the descent of the Conservatives in general into far-right conspiratorial poison.
The misnamed Human Rights Act. They didn't call it the Criminal Rights Act.
An appalling feeling that I'm in one of those historic catastrophes.
But when someone dies of COVID-19, it's not a tragedy. It's just a number.
Our most vulnerable are worried. They are being put at risk.
People who have long COVID are struggling to work.
As disabled people live in absolute fear.
To stop disabled people getting benefits rather than to help them.
Why are we destroying everything for people who will die anyway soon?
More boats, asylum seekers and migrants has become a political battleground.
High on the cliffs overlooking the Bibby Stockholm is one of Portland's 2 prisons. The government insists this barge isn't a third.
I think they're tapping into a deep, deep fear that a lot of people have, that they know that the very life support systems of this planet are failing us right now.
Leading scientists have told the BBC they're concerned by the recent run of new climate records being set. Some fear we're already witnessing worst-case scenarios.
Climate change has become the main driver for those immigrants having to leave their homes.
Climate change will produce a knock-on effect on creating mass displacement.
Humans are knowingly causing the 6th mass extinction.
The beginning of a mass extinction.
It's not a 6th mass extinction event that we're precipitating, it's a mass extermination event.
We are entering an age of mass migration, and we who live in wealthy countries have a duty.
COVID-19 is a mass disabling event.
We've just gone through a pandemic, which is a mass disabling event, and now we're in a poverty crisis, which is a mass disabling event.
We're in this mass denial.
People are severing ties with reality and just making it up.
Useless fuck pigs. Morons. Cunts.